No, that's what it's all about. And, I mentioned public funding, but at the end of the day, the bulk of our funding is philanthropic. And so I would encourage your listeners to look at an organization like Father Joe's Villages, who is effective in what it's doing, that helps those not only who are on the streets, but the community at large.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
The world-famous Drew Schlossberg is on a world-famous assignment. I'm Dave Mason, in for Drew today, and happy to be talking with Kristen Fogle, who is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and has also written her very own book, Dare to Write, Creative Writing Prompts for Young People and Word Rebels.
Yes.
What is a word rebel?
A word rebel is just anyone who dares to put it on the page, Writing, as we've kind of talked about, is kind of scary, and it's couched in all this academia and everything. But word rebels they don't care. They get vulnerable. They believe that they have a story to share, and they do it. So
wow. So that takes a lot. Are you finding people are more likely to do that now than in your earlier days of writing?
I don't know. It's a good question. I do see a lot of retirees at Writers Inc. that think, okay, enough's enough. I'm done with all the other stuff that I've had to do. Now is the time. So I don't know about this time in history, but I definitely see that population popping up more and more and wanting to tell their stories.
What about the economic impact on someone's life? Can you make a living from doing this?
That's a good question. And we can. I'm trying not to get political. With AB 5 and things like that, but so it's a little more difficult these days.
Oh.
But there are jobs to be had in journalism and writing books. It gets tougher and tougher. The publishing model has definitely changed. More people are self-publishing and doing hybrid publishing as opposed to the traditional route. But
now, when we talk about writing, the first thing that comes to mind is writing a book.
Yes.
Into my mind. But there are other ways to express in the written word. I mean, as you mentioned, journalism. Journalists and telling news reporters, opinion journalism, as it were, your thoughts on a given situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's journalism. The book's good because, like I said, it breaks out some of the genres. And at Writers Inc., the genres run the gamut. So we have classes on playwriting and screenwriting and journalism and memoir and novel writing and all sorts of different things. So the sky is the limit.
What are some of the programs you have coming up at San Diego Writers Inc.?
So two big ones that we have coming up that I love are the novel writing certificate program and the memoir writing certificate program. So like you said, hey, I'm thinking about writing this book. I'm not really sure where to start, all of that sort of stuff. I like the novel writing and the memoir certificate program because they begin at the beginning of the year, and by the end, you've taken these 5-6 week courses kind of from idea to first draft, and they take you through everything. So lots of craft, like we've talked a little bit about, character development and what does a setting look like and point of view and all these rich, beautiful, wonderful, delicious things that you need to know in writing anything. And by the end, you've got this thing and you know how to edit said thing. And it's a really great program and it's really low cost too. So not to bag on the universities, but because we're a nonprofit, we can be much more competitive and low priced and everything like that. So I think for the novel writing certificate, it's like $700 for the year, and the memoir is one additional class, so it's $800 a year.
What is the difference between writing a novel and writing a memoir?
Well, a memoir, which often gets confused with autobiography, which is one's entire life, memoir is autobiographical in nature, but it's focused around one event. So I wouldn't be taking you birth to death. Thank God, because I'm not dead yet. But
good thing.
I would be talking about a particular couple of years, maybe let's say that I lived abroad and something that happened to me and changed me and something that I want to share with viewers. A novel is fictitious in nature. You can borrow from your life, certainly, and it doesn't need to be based just on one event.
Can you combine the two, though? You can make a a novel based on your memoirs?
Sure, absolutely.
Memoirs based on your...
A lot of people, to be safe and to protect people, end up going that route. You know, the names have been changed to protect the innocent and all of that. But yeah, you can do whatever you want with writing. That's what I'm trying to say is word rebels, bend the rules.
Yeah,
learn the rules and then break them.
Where we're trying to get. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good. And you have... The teachers that I had in going through my early formative years always had really kind of strict things about writing.
Sure. Yeah, I went to Catholic school. Don't talk to me about the strict. Yeah.
Let me see your knuckles.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We were past the nuns, so
okay,
I think I was a year past the nuns leaving.
That's good.
But it's, yeah, I mean, and that's what we were talking about with writing being this very, I don't know, the boxed in sort of art form.
Yeah.
We need to move away from that. We need to get out of that. And I think thankfully in schools, we are starting to move beyond that.
Good.
They're trying to teach that writing is really about expression and creativity at the heart of it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And people, well, there are a lot more things to express these days, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
Now, when you talk about social media, you see people writing things, and there are some
Right.
people. Sometimes I will get on a Facebook post and I'll start with 3-4 sentences. I end up writing a full page.
Sure.
Is that something that can be channeled into this creative writing process?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different avenues I want to go with this. But
brain dump. Time for a brain dump.
Yeah. So my brain dump on that issue is I think that's what makes it even more important for people to take up writing is that we are, social media especially, we're just seeing one point of view all the time. It's this ultra curated world, right? And so I think that prompt writing and also coming to somewhere like San Diego Writers Inc., like being exposed to some of these other opinions is really, really important.
Have you learned yourself from these classes?
Absolutely.
And from being in these classes?
Yeah. I mean, these instructors are top notch. These are people that teach at university. I have people that are these book-a-year novelists. These are really professionals in their field, and they teach for us because they love the sense of community. They love what we've created and what they've created. So, yeah, I've learned a tremendous amount in these classes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is terrific. You mentioned a 3-week writing program?
Yeah. 3 weeks was my writing process. So I was fortunate that someone contacted me, a publisher contacted me and said, "Hey, Kristen, do you want to write a book in 3 weeks?" And I was like, yes, I do. Please don't take me off your list. Please, yes, fine. And I was, as I was saying, I have a 1-year-old. He was 6 months at the time. So that was a particularly challenging thing.
Sure.
Thankfully, I also do theater in the community, and thankfully I just put aside a play, asked someone else to direct a show for me. So I had some time, but 3 weeks was really, really challenging, but it taught me a lot about my writing process. Particularly of note, and I've said this before other places, but I started the process saying, okay, I'm going to write every day. I'm going to be very academic about it. And real writers, they write every day. And I found that my writing was terrible. I got a ton of red lines at the end of that week. And so at the end of the 2-week deadline, I did what I do with everything else and did it at the last minute, and the writing was much, much better.
Some people work well under that kind of pressure.
That's just how when I get into a classroom, that's how I do it. When I get into a speaking situation, that's how I do it. I mean, it's just better quality.
If it works, it works.
Right?
Okay, so we have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Let's say that a listener to this program is thinking about being a writer, wants to take the next step. What do you suggest they do?
Well, I suggest that they come and they check out the website. I suggest actually that they come to one of our Room to Write sessions. So they're Tuesday and they're Fridays. They're 9 to 12 in the morning. And you can just come and write and be with other writers and start on a project and see how you like that process. And, I also think with any job, you need to think about what the lifestyle is. Do you like being alone and doing that sort of work? Or do you need to be a little more social and things like that? But I think that that's a good first step, is going to a Room to Write session. It's free. We're at Liberty Station. It's nice. It's comfy. There's lots of parking. So come to one of those.
And your website again?
It is sandiegowriters.org.
Okay. And I wanted to get that in there. For San
Sure.
Diego Writers Inc., that's with a K, I-N-K.
It is, yes. We're very cheeky like that, yes.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I like that whole idea.
Yeah.
And when a publisher calls you and says, okay, you want to write a book in 3 weeks, why did they give you a 3-week deadline?
They are an interesting company. They look at the Google data and they look at all the internet data.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what people are Googling. They want writing prompts and craft for young people. So they go and they contact experts, which made me feel good for being an expert. And they want to get that out as soon as possible because that's what people are Googling right now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do, and thanks for the, a 25-minute education, really, in something that I'm sure a lot of us have thought about.
Yes.
But nobody, not nobody, but it's difficult to make that next step, and you've helped us make the next step.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at sandiegowriters.org. You can email me directly there, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
And thank you again. This is pretty amazing. The name of the book is Dare to Write, Creative Writing Prompts for Young People and for Word Rebels everywhere. You have to say it rebel.
I like how you say that,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's sandiegowriters.org. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Have a great day.
You too.
I'm Dave Mason on the San Diego Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show.
Thank you for listening to a podcast from Cloudcast Media, the digital media home for leading local brands. When it comes to amplifying your brand, a Cloudcast-sponsored show offers unbeatable value. Learn more at cloudcast.us.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180, the 3-minute lightning round with changemakers here in San Diego. We're here with Ed Heiner, 20-year Navy SEAL, best-selling author, and education entrepreneur. Ed, welcome to the Cloudcast 180.
Thanks for having me.
Your book was called First Fast Fearless, so let's hit this fast and fearlessly. Real quick, you created a program to help change lives of high school students around the country. It's called SEALpreneurship. Tell our audience what it's all about.
Well, it's about leading yourself. Getting a PhD in me, I teach kids how to take care of themselves and lead themselves first, and how to be their own entrepreneur, intrapreneur, if you will.
Is it something you think public education is lacking, this concept of self-leadership?
Absolutely. It's a mindset that kids don't get. My son doesn't get it in his school. The kids don't get it. It's something that, we're educating them, but to be mentally tough and be able to take charge of themselves and accountable for themselves is very unique.
Okay. I've seen an overview of your curriculum, 23 evolutions, and you have a 23-minute podcast series. So what's up with 23?
Chromosomes, right? It's all in all of us. We're all the same. 99.9% of everybody in this world is the same. And we use those chromosomes, 23 pairs, which was one of the concepts we teach as swim buddies, never be alone. Mm-hmm. Always work with someone else, collaborate, and be out there.
Boy, that's a lesson for life for sure. Ed, you were in charge of basic and advanced training for the U.S. Navy SEALs, and I mentioned you're a 20-year SEAL. Tell our audience the greatest lesson from the SEALs that have changed you forever.
Probably in the back of a helicopter one night in Iraq before I was getting ready to fly into an Al-Qaeda target, it dawned on me that when a pilot said, you have this many souls on board, it dawned on me that the opposite of fear is love. It's not else. I don't fight for what I hate in front of me. I fight for what's beside me and behind me that I love.
Wow, it's a powerful concept. Wow. You've talked a lot about the blue-collar scholar as a concept. Fascinating. Tell our audience, what is the blue-collar scholar as it relates to your SEALpreneurship program?
It's a mental concept where people take control. Don't outsource their life. Look, we're going to have people that are in white coats, suits and ties, doctors, PhDs. That's fine. Listen to that and learn your information from them. But eventually, you got to be that mechanic in your own life. You got to turn the wrench. This is happening. So basically, take control of your own life. Use what you can use from other people. Discard it, what you can't, and make that your own. Leadership is something that you do. It's you do with people, not to them. And one of the best forms of leadership I learned in the back of that helicopter is called MOM.
Ed,
Focus on mission, others, me.
Mission, others, me. Ed, thank you for being here. This has been the Cloudcast 180. We hit it fast and fearlessly. We're out.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.